Welcome back to another episode of the Track Car Build Series, and today, thanks to Miata, we are installing probably the most important brake system part for this car. These are braided lines. You can get them on their website. There's a link below. Directly to these. We have these on literally every car in the shop. I use them on street cars. They're just better than the rubber lines. Under high heat, they're more resistant because they're braided steel, and also they allow for more pedal pressure because the rubber lines will like grow as you push down and pressurize them, where these, the braiding keeps them tight. So better pedal feel, better high like track temp management and things like that. So these are fairly inexpensive, and I highly recommend them. So I'm gonna run you guys through how to install them real quick. The fronts, I'm gonna do one side because both fronts are exactly the same, and the rears will go into the differences of the both sides. But all in all, it's fairly simple install, so let's get to it. So we're on the driver's front side right now. You can see here's our nice fancy brake ducting. That's all set there. Shout out to Foxwell Fabrication. But we've already removed the factory line, which would run from here over to just the back of your brake caliper right there. This kit actually comes with, kind of a mess right now, this kit comes with everything you need. So new banjo bolts with crush washers and the lines that will run to your brake setup. Not shown right now, I'll show it on the back side, is there is like a rectangular washer that goes here. So these guys typically sit right here like this, and they keep tension on the brake line so it doesn't move around and bounce, because this hard line is just chilling here, and then your soft line obviously has no strength. So you'll start by popping these out. Flathead screwdriver through this little slit here is the trick, and then just slide them out. Super easy. Unhook the brake line. If you don't have a set of these brake line wrenches, you can do it without them. Just be really careful you don't round off the tightening nut on top. These are cheap. I'll put a link to these on Amazon. They come in more handy than I ever realized. It's one of those things, once you buy it, you need it. So that's it for disassembly. Unbolt these two. If you have brake fluid in your car, you'll probably want a drip pan underneath. Reinstall is as easy as uninstall. So we're gonna take this, and this threads into this piece over here, and then your banjo bolt will go through this end over here. So real quick, there is a crush washer that goes on both sides of this fitting. So I'm gonna put it in like that. You'll see crush washer on the top. Take another guy, put it on the bottom, and then this just screws right into here. They actually include instructions that has the torque spec on the backside. It is 12 to 14 foot-pounds. I'll come back and hit these with a torque wrench in a minute. But you want to make sure you torque these, because you need to crush the washer, well, actually both washers, and you don't want it to leak fluid. So if you go too far, you'll strip it out. Not far enough, you won't crush the washer and it'll leak. So I'm going to snug them down for now, and I'll come back around afterwards and torque everything down to spec. So this is a 17 on the bottom, and then a factory Miata upper line is a 10 millimeter, which is this side. And can't really torque this because unless you have like a torque box end wrench, I guess. It's a flare fitting, so you'll feel once it snugs up. You just want to go nice and snug. Gut and tight is the torque spec. Like that, and then once that's in there, you'll take this spring washer, I don't even know what we want to call this, that we took out earlier, and that will go on top. It sits inside of this thinner channel here. Just push it in by hand. And that is as easy as installing a brake line gets. One thing to pay really good attention to is the orientation of your brake line. So see how this kind of tucks back in and out of the way? If you picture a wheel here, it's going to be sitting right around this area. And if this is rubbing on the inside of your wheel, the wheel will cut right through this and all of a sudden you'll just lose brakes. It happened to Dylan's car on the dyno, and I've seen it on other cars before locally. John, if you're watching this. So just keep in mind, the factory lines have a little tang that orients it correctly, but once you go stainless, that doesn't happen anymore. So just make sure it's in and away from the wheel and you'll be all set to go. So the routing in the rear, it's the same idea. You want to make sure that this comes away from the wheel. The pre-bent line, it really will only fit one way, and you kind of have to twist it, but it's perfect because, again, if you picture a wheel right here, it will come in and dodge this whole setup. So we're going to tighten this down again, same 12 to 14 foot-pounds. Anywhere in here is really okay. I'm going to try and keep it as low as possible, but snug that up, tighten that guy up, and then we'll put that spring clip back in on the back side. So the passenger side version is a little bit different because it has this bracket, which you can actually see right here. I've already started removing it, but it's held on with two 10mm nuts, or M6 nuts. It's 10mm socket. And then the line from the front of the car comes back on this side, and this is the line that goes over to the driver's side that we just replaced. So to do this correctly, we're gonna actually remove this line, and we will take off this whole bracket bit as one piece. So once you take it off, you're left with this guy, and here you can actually see the alignment tab that I was talking about. This, it's an OEM thing only. Aftermarket ones I haven't seen that have it. Up here you're left with the cross line to get to the driver's side, and this is the line from the brake master up here. So we're gonna swap the new one, this new bracket in here, and as you can see, it has a top hole for the line that goes to the driver's side, and this side hole is the one that goes to the brake master up front. So this will just bolt up. It only uses one hole position of these two, but same hardware and everything else, and then the line down here will just run to the brake caliper. So same principle, two copper washers, the fitting, and the hardware supplied by them. Runs up to this bracket, and this is just an M6x1 nut. These are tight. This is tight from them. You can always double check it if you want. Not a bad idea. But that's all that's involved in the rear. And then the front passenger side, which we haven't actually done yet, is the same as the front driver's side. So I'll just show you that when it's all wrapped up, and then we'll just do a once over real quick.
One eternity later.
So there's the passenger side line, same exact concept as the front. So there's the spring washer with the new line meets the hard line from the body. This is tucked back in away from the wheel. Mind my bloody hand. These fenders are sharp. Two copper crush washers, the supplied hardware right through the banjo bolt fitting, and that's it. So the next step, logically, would be bleeding the brakes. We're not quite there yet, just because this car is not 100% finished. We'll probably do it next weekend or something, but the key to that is, and there's lots of good videos on how to bleed brakes. There's one specific thing that I see a lot of people mess up on Miatas. The rule of thumb is always start farthest away from the brake master, which is here. So everybody thinks farthest away from here is the back corner, when in reality, if you've traced the lines, the first one you want to bleed is actually the driver's side rear, because the lines go across, back, and then over this way. And if you bleed from there, there could still be air here. So the proper order is this side, driver's side, rear, passenger side front, driver's side front. And if you do that, you'll have awesome braking pressure. And I've never had an issue with that. You'll be able to lock them up and everything. So again, big shout out to Miata for supplying us with these parts. We've got another episode coming next weekend with another really cool thing that we actually all have in our cars as well. So we'll show you that. So if you're interested in getting these for your own car or any other really performance-based parts, the link for all of this will be down in the description below. If you're watching this between April 7th and May 4th of 2022, they're actually having their performance sale, and this stuff will be on sale. So go grab it now. There's no time like the present. Summer is right around the corner for us Northern Hemisphere folks, and it is a time to get your brakes ready and do some track day stuff. So again, big shout out to Moss. for being a constant sponsor of this channel. So really appreciate it. And if you stay for a little longer, I'll put a sneak peek of the wheels up. As per usual, thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. Let us know if you're running braided lines on your car, and if not, why not? And then make sure you subscribe for more content. We've got some really cool stuff with Dylan's car, which is right there, coming down the pipeline for you guys. So stay tuned. See you around. If you stuck around this far, it's post credits, but we picked up these wheels last week. So they are 15x8 TR Motorsports C1s, I believe. There's a lot of letters there.
Tire rack special.
Tire rack special, exactly. So they are running some old 225s right now. We're just gonna blow these off during like shakedown events and stuff like that. Dylan, our resident Picasso, is gonna paint these black because if you've ever tracked with track pads, keeping brake dust off is a nightmare. So this is what they are. We got a square side all the way around. It looks pretty cool with wheels finally. So these will not stay like this, but once everything's wrapped and sleek, and these will be black, it's gonna be beautiful. So really hyped, and until next time.